Hey, what's up, everybody? How we doing? Matt Modi with OddsJam, and what I'm going to do in this video, as I'm sure you can guess, give you some player props to lock in for Monday Night Football tomorrow. Depending when you're watching this, it could be tonight. I'm recording this on Sunday, but regardless, giving you three player props. So yeah, I have three for you guys for this Monday Night Football game between the Eagles and the Commanders. Let me zoom in on my screen a little bit here. So might as well get into it. The first play that I'm going to lock in here is Antonio Gibson over 3.5 receptions. This play is at plus 125 on PointsBet. So I'm going to put 3/4 of a unit on this one on Antonio Gibson over 3.5 receptions, or I'm going to get 52 because that is all that PointsBet will allow me to. But for those of you at home, if you want to unit size one, should be worth 3/4 of a unit. If you don't feel like doing the math, you want to round up to a full unit, down to a half unit, then I say round this one down to a half unit if you so please. But regardless, I do really like this play. So OddsJam calculates the no vig odds to be about plus 118. This can be viewed as the true line of what a market for this play should be priced at. Also can be viewed as the OddsJam perfect line. This number comes from weighted average from all of the different sharp sportsbooks in the world. So basically using the smartest sportsbooks in the world in terms of setting lines and saying, okay, here, it's sharp sportsbooks are telling me something should be priced like this. We can get it on another book that's positive expected value, right? It should truly be priced at plus 118, but PointsBet is offering it at plus 125. So that's the math behind it, why this one has positive expected value. Another thing that I like to do before placing a bet is just look into the markets and see where everything has it priced at. So if we look across the board, the closest book to PointsBet is BetOnline that has this at plus 106. Every other book, DraftKings at plus 105, Pinnacle at plus 103, all the other books have it for about even money in terms of how they're pricing it. PointsBet is giving it to us all the way up at plus 125. Just a massive outlier here from what PointsBet is giving it to us versus the rest of the betting markets. Taking advantage of outliers is a profitable way to make money betting on sports. Find all the sports books and say, okay, this one is mispriced. This is one we should take advantage of, right? If you were looking at something like the stock market and the New York Stock Exchange has Apple stock at $300 a share, some other random exchange, you can get them at $280 a share. You would say, oh, that's a good price on this Apple stock, right? It should be priced at $300 from all these reputable sources. I can get this at $280. That's a profitable stock to invest in, $20 a share. Same thing with sports betting, right? All these different sports books have different ways of pricing markets. We're just looking for the ones that have mispriced lines. In this case, PointsBet at plus 125. In terms of handicapping this one, I actually really like this one. Antonio Gibson, it's kind of had like a weird situation going on with the Washington football team where his rookie year, he was incredible. He was hit or miss his second year, and this year he was pretty much in the doghouse, and he would have been benched at the beginning of the year if the horrific incident didn't happen with Brian Robinson. Robinson missed the first month or so. Gibson was a starting running back. And then Brian Robinson came back thinking that Gibson was going to be pretty much phased out, and then he's kind of been hit or miss. So with Robinson back, he's had some good games, some bad games. You never know with him, but what I will say, in a game in which I'm expecting the Commanders to be losing most of the game, they're 11-point underdogs. Antonio Gibson is very clearly their passing back with J.D. McKissick being hurt. So the receptions here, getting 4, I think is really good value, especially getting it at plus 125. So I like this one a lot. 3/4 of a unit I would like to have put on this Antonio Gibson play. The next one that I'm going to lock in here is Taylor Heinecke under 214.5 passing yards. Now, I know I said that I think that they're going to be losing the whole game, so they're going to need to pass. Heinecke is just not an efficient pass, and this one has been locked in just to show you. Heinecke is not an efficient passer, so even if he does have to pass the whole game, it's not likely that he'll have a ton of success. The Eagles have the third best defense in the entire NFL, according to DVOA, third best defense. They've been great all year, and I think if Washington's going to have success, it will be running the ball. Now, I know I mentioned Gibson getting the receptions, but regardless, that's just 4 reception versus 215 passing yards. So I like this one from a handicapping perspective as well. Of course, the math, minus 114, that OddsJam calculates it we can get it at bet 365 at minus 110 odds. So that gap is where you can get your money, or where you get your value from. You can also get it at Bet Rivers / Barstool / Unibet / Twinspires at minus 113 if you want as well. That would still be positive expected value. And then looking at this one so another thing you can do, what I will say, if you open the event page in a new tab, so right now we're just looking at where sportsbooks price 214.5. If you open up the event page in a new tab, it pulls up where every sportsbook prices this Taylor Heinecke passing yards at. So we can see that, and let me zoom out just for a second here. So we can see that other sportsbooks, so we got it at 214.5, looks like 3 books have it at 215.5, but minus 115, minus 115, minus 113. I liked getting the better odds at literally only 1 yard. It's very unlikely that he lands at exactly 215. If he does, that would hurt. But another reason why I like this one and why I think it's worth a full unit. So this sportsbook in this column right here is BetOnline. BetOnline is a very sharp sportsbook in terms of pricing odds. They price it at 212, so 3 yards lower, and they favor the under. They have the under at minus 130, the over at plus 100, favoring the under, having the under as the more likely scenario. And that's 3 yards lower. So 3 yards, bigger difference than this 1 yard here. So this is the next play that I want. This is my favorite play that I'm going to be giving out tonight, the Taylor Heinecke under passing yards. And the next one, actually, let me just add this one to my bet tracker real quick. OddsJam has a bet tracker for free. This one I didn't need to add because you can sync your sportsbooks. So I was able to sync PointsBet. But the last one that I'm going to lock in here is this Curtis Samuel under 42.5 receiving yards as well. So let me go ahead and lock this one in. I'm just going to put a half of a unit on this one. Receiving yards, where is that? Receiving yards, here we go. Curtis Samuel under 42.5 receiving yards. Another half unit play for me here. My last play for the slate. So let me add this one to my bet tracker. No big odds, price this at about minus 112. We got it at minus 110. So there's the gap in terms of the math behind it. Looking across the board, either sportsbooks price it lower than this number, like we see some 41.5, 40.5, 39.5, and 1 yard is a much bigger deal from 42 to 41 to 40 to 39 than 214, right? It's I don't know, 5 times lower, the 42.5 versus 215.5. But other sportsbooks either heavily favor it going under 42.5, like we see Caesars and DraftKings minus 130, minus 131, Tipico minus 125, Pinnacle, which is the sharpest sportsbook in the world, which are these two columns right here. Our Pinnacle Sportsbook, price it at minus 128, heavily favoring, the under. Or we see sportsbooks price it below this number, like I said, 41, 40, 39.5. So all in all, I do like this one, Curtis Samuel. He had started off the year pretty hot with Carson Wentz. Hasn't been going so well with Taylor Heinecke. I know he had a big touchdown last week, but overall hasn't been going well for Curtis Samuel. And Heinecke seems to love to target McLaurin more than Samuel. So I think this is a good play, under 42.5. Also a really good play on Prize Picks. If you want to take his under 46.5, that like in a Prize Picks DFS play, that's just like a wildly unpriced line at 46.5 compared to the rest of the books. So regardless, that is going to be it for this video. 3 player props to lock in for Monday Night Football, and that's all I got. So appreciate you guys watching, and have a good one.